Yeah, Mangai, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Very good evening to one and all. We welcome you to the Deccan Positive Mental Health webinar series. We welcome today resource person Mrs. Kalyani G. Ma'am, counseling psychologist and special educator Hyderabad, and we welcome participants and teammates on behalf of Manasa Sukara Mindcare Hyderabad in association with Yellowburn Counseling Center Hyderabad, India. Forest Creative Heart Studio, Punjab. Thank you. Over to intro section, ma'am. Thank you all once again.
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for that wonderful welcome address. And Mrs. Kalyani, ma'am, she has 23 years of experience in education. She's a counseling psychologist and educational consultant. She has completed her MSc in psychology, a PG diploma in guidance and counseling, a B.Ed course in clinical psychology and art for introvert. She's a special educator. She's a remedial instructor with a B.Ed in special education, PG diploma in special education. She's a certified remedial instructor from the Madras Dyslexia Association and Alpha to Omega Chennai. She has 10 years of experience in dealing with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, autism, learning disability, and intellectual disability. She's a student counselor, a special educator, a career counselor at Ganges Valley School. She is certified from the university and UCLA. She's a life coach and mentor of CBT and NLP practitioner, and MDBA personnel, BCom, ICWA intern. And with that short introduction, a very, very warm welcome to you, ma'am. And ma'am would be speaking on the topic Stoic wisdom today. And the floor is yours, ma'am. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anita, ma'am, for that lovely introduction. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to congratulate. I've tried to attend most of the previous sessions, and because they're all so good, so that I really don't want to miss. But at least some point I enter, and they've been really very, very good. And I mean, like, it's so difficult now to find a topic which has not been done earlier. Anyway, so this was something I've been researching. I've been listening to for the past 4 or 5 months, and I thought it was interesting topic. Um, so I'll start off. I have, a few activities planned. They are basically something of introspection. So I call it soul searching. So we start off. And I hope you all have a paper and a pen with you. So the little bit of
Yes.
writing work is there today. I hope you all don't mind. This is the first thing. If you all can see my screen, it's divided into, like, draw one line. Okay. uh, the first, this is a soul search, I call it, one first activity. Like, what is that you look forward to on any day, on a routine, any day, in the morning? Like, what is that you look forward to in a particular day? That's, you write on the left side. And what, I tend to stress about, is there something, it's always there at the back of your mind, it's bothering you, it bothers you. So these things, these soul search activities are for your own, uh, uh, understanding yourself. You may not have to share it. If you would like to share, we can do it at the end of the session. But I would like you to write it down. It could be just a few things, like 2 or 3 things. One is what I look forward to. Like, in a day, what is that, you're really looking forward to? What you enjoy doing? That you will write. And what is that which you think you tend to worry about or stress about? Will take about 2 minutes. And I would like to know if how many of you have heard about this stoicism. If you can type in the chat box. Jaya ma'am says she has. Okay. One more minute we can take. We'll just keep this, and maybe we can share it. If you want to share, you can share at the end of the session. Is that okay? Can I move on? Okay, so I'll move on to the next slide. Okay, what is Stoicism? Stoicism is a very ancient school, philosophy, is a school of philosophy that flourished in ancient Greece and Rome 2000 years ago. But what is very interesting is those principles which were put forth are still very much applicable and relevant even today. Like they spoke about response versus reaction. They've spoken about mindfulness. They've spoken about focusing on yourself. So that is what makes it very interesting, that the Stoics believe that the practice of virtue, you know, uh, leading a good life, is enough to achieve eudaimonia, which means a well-lived life. So basically, Stoicism is a way of living. How you should, the principles they've given really, help you lead a better life, give the best, be your best self. So I found it very interesting because of its relevancy. It's so much applicable even now, and I'm trying to practice some of them. So, but one thing is, I'm not saying that all you would agree with all of them, and I'm not endorsing all of them. I'm just today putting forth 9 principles. There are many actually. Out of that, I've chosen a few which I personally liked. And they are applicable. So I thought, it's nice to know. So these were propounded 2000 years ago, which is amazing, and they're still very relevant. Okay, now what's the history? It was founded by a person called Zeno of Citium in Athens, Greece, 300 BC. So the name Stoicism was derived from the Greek word stopolkile, which means painted porch, a corridor, a porch, like, it was a portico decorated with mythical and historical battle scenes on the north side of Agora of Athens, where Zeno of Citium and his followers gathered to share the ideas and views. Like they used to, he is the one who started all this, and he used to, they used to sit in one huge hall kind of thing. It's a big corridor actually, which looks like a hall, and they would discuss all these things. So like that, and then eventually everybody added on to those principles, and they went on and on, like the many of them who contributed to this philosophy. Who was the founder? Zeno was so it was also called Zenoism, and he chose to teach his philosophy in a public space. So it was in a huge corridor. So that's why it's called Stoicism, because Stoi polkile, which means painted porch. Okay, the philosophers, the main philosophers was Actually, Marcus Aurelius was a major contributor. He was an emperor, actually. So, but he had his own philosophy. I mean, he came up with a lot of his own this thing also, realizations. Then Zeno was the main person. Then Marcus. Then Epictetus, Seneca, Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle. So they all are contributed to the philosophy of Stoicism at various periods. But this happened long, long ago, and that's what makes it very interesting. Okay, so now we go to principle number one. Stoicism speaks about, they say, first thing is like they say that you have to listen more and talk less. That's why God has given us 2 ears and one mouth, So, one thing they say is we should be actively listen to what others are saying, because when you listen, there's more learning. Like if you're talking, um, like we are only sharing what we know, but when we are listening we are also learning. So they emphasize on listening more than talking. And when we are talking, you need to be relevant. I mean, we should talk what is relevant to the person, to the situation, to the place. So relevancy in communication is very, very important. And they have spoken about the power of silence. Like the silence is very powerful. Like it's always better not to speak as much as possible, or think before you speak. And although those things were what they emphasized, because that leads to a lot of less problems. I mean, you don't get into any of this thing when you talk less and listen more. And in your communication, try to be non-judgmental as much as possible. Just listen without any judgment. So these were three things which they spoke about when they spoke about communication skills. So, so in terms of communication, then the next principle was focus on yourself. This I know I keep telling the students, because I think it's always good to focus more on yourself, because it doesn't matter what others are saying or doing, and you don't have to compare yourself with others. If you they believed a lot on personal, working on yourself and your personal growth, instead of getting into others affairs. So first of all, they said you should not compare with others. Your path is your own, so focus on your path and stop worrying about what others say about you, because it's their perspective, or they may not even know much about you. So you don't have to worry about what others are saying. And don't suffer imagined troubles, means unnecessarily don't imagine that somebody is saying something, or somebody thinks this about me, so am I. So don't look for external validation, is what they talk about. So these are all their principles, uh, which I think are very much applicable. Relationships, when in terms of relationships, they say that be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Be a little more, like think about what you are doing more than what others are doing, and be tolerant. Like don't judge others, and listen to them, and not uh, be like whatever, accept them the way they are, instead of expecting them to do what you want them to do. So they like it should be more introspective about yourself, and not be judgmental about others. So when it comes, because then your relationships will thrive, you'll have harmony in your relationships, because you're not, when you're accepting and not expecting. So this is what they have said, and I think this is also very much applicable, relevant, even today. So they always said, like you just uh, don't expect people to do, because it's always better to uh, not get expect and be frustrated and feel, oh, they're not doing. And that's what is the major cause of uh, disharmony, disturbances in a relationship because we always expect others, to behave the way we want. So this is, as much as we will also may not be doing that, right? It's like we may not behave the way others want us to behave, or so it's not the right thing to do, is what they say, that don't accept the way people are. Can I move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now this is about control. I mean, I'm sure you all know circle of control. What There are things which we can control, and there are things which we can't control. So this is the next soul search activity. You just have to draw these circles like this, where in the white one, in the middle, you can write what is that is in your control. What do you think is in your control, and what are the things which are not in your control, which will come in the outer circle? Can we do this in 2-3 minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sure most of you are familiar with this concept, but it's always good to just do it once, go through our own this. Even I'm doing it. What do you think are things which are in your control, and what are the things which are not in your control?
Ma'am, can I share something?
Yes, please, please.
My thoughts, my feelings, the way I react to people is under my control.
Yes,
And, factors like traffic outside, and the other thing which I forgot to mention is health. My health is something, if I want to exercise, and that is under my control.
control. Correct, correct.
If I have to walk, I have to make an effort to do that, and that is under my control and make some time for it.
Correct.
And if it comes to others' opinion about me, if I have to please
Yes.
others,
Yes.
it's not going to be possible.
Correct. Absolutely, absolutely.
To others' opinion, and there are certain things like traffic. If I want to drive and there is a lot of traffic, a lot of cars on the road,
Yeah.
and I get frustrated, it's not going to help me. So
Correct.
that is not under my control.
Correct, correct. I think this is one thing which this is a common, familiar thing which everybody knows, I guess. Most of us are like, we've done this before, I guess. So I'll move on to the next one. Yeah, you're absolutely right, ma'am. So what to control and what is in our control is our thoughts, emotions, and actions. So actions, I think, covers everything, right? How we respond, instead of whether we react or respond, will come under actions. So if we stick to this, like thoughts, we just focus on our thoughts, our emotions, because emotions are surely in our control, and actions. If these three things we can control, I think we have achieved it. And because if basically you'll have more peace and harmony, and I think that is the goal of our life, is to be happy, peaceful, and enjoy our lives. That's the goal, and we need, if we want to achieve that, and if we can master these three, where so this is another Stoic principle which they told long back, that you should have control on your emotions, thoughts, and actions. We'll discuss. I mean, anybody wants to share, I think we can share at the end of the session, no problem. Okay, one more thing, one principle number 5 which they have given is simplicity. What they say was like, keep your life simple as much as possible. In terms of environment, try to keep, I mean, this is something very difficult for me at least. So, but yeah, thoughts can be simple, should not, unnecessary. Don't think about things which are not required, and keep your life simple, simple environment and simple thoughts. Then when you simplify your life, no, it's much easier, and you will also, it's another way of finding your peace. Is there anything you would like to add? Anybody wants to add over here? How do you simplify your life?
Ma'am, simple living, high thinking.
Yes, 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 yes. Simple life, simple environment, like no clutter. Try to reduce, things, materialistic things, as much as possible, because then you have less things to take care of and less things to worry about.
Kalyaniji, yesterday,
Yes.
I gave a talk
Okay.
on how to manage unhappiness. Jyoti ji was also present. How
Okay.
to make your life simple, know the difference between a need and a greed.
And a want. Yes.
No, the greed.
Greed. Okay.
And
Greed versus greed.
Greed.
Yeah.
Greed doesn't mean just money. Greed is excessive and intense desire for anything.
Yes.
Position, power, and everything.
Yes.
If you go after the need, your life will be simple. You'll be happy. That's
True.
it.
True. It helps. It helps. Like I think Sudhamurti is a major example. I mean, she's an inspiration for me, where she talks about simplicity, and I think she's an epitome of simplicity. It's very inspirational. I mean, the way she lives. She says, "Why do you need so many clothes? Why do you need so many things?" I think there are people who lead simple lives and are happy.
Not to take life too seriously.
True. True. Yeah. So our goal, they say that happiness, we all know, is the goal of our lives. How do we be happy? The one thing is be content with what you have. Count your blessings. Be happy with what you have. I think contentment is a major this thing to happiness. If you're content, you're happy. When you start wanting for more and this thing, that leads to a lot of anxiety and frustration, despair, lots of things, negative things. So, and express gratitude as much as possible to whoever is, I think, in your life. I'm sure there are lots of things you can. I think here we can do an activity where I have not put it here, I guess. But yeah, what are we thankful for? We can always put it on paper somewhere so that but of course, even in your mind, you can keep thanking the Lord Almighty, thank people who are there in your life, who are always there in your life. I think there are many people, I'm sure, you have to be, you want to be thankful for. Then one more thing will make you happy is random acts of kindness. I try to follow this, like whoever is, as much as I can do. People who help me, maid or anybody for that matter. So I try to give whatever I can in whatever way I can help them. Like suppose she's not well and she says I'm not well today, so I give her some medication. Ask her, if I can give her something to eat, drink, whatever. So like that, lots of things. I'm sure there are many examples I can share. Random acts of kindness and anybody wants to share, which gives you a lot of joy, satisfaction, happiness. You feel good when you give something to somebody, right? Or help somebody in some way, as much as possible. So I think that's one way of getting happiness. Go a little faster so that we have time to share also. Okay, now the next one, they say stay detached from people and things. Suppose when we are counseling, like when I'm counseling children and all, sometimes we tend to get so attached to the problem or the person that get affected. So that leads to again, you feel like disturbed. It kind of brings you down. You feel sad, and so you say that even from your own children, you don't have to be very attached. Let them lead their lives the way they want, and you don't get too attached to anybody because everybody has their own lives to lead. So just be there for people, but don't get overly emotionally dependent on something. Then you tend to get attached, and that itself becomes a reason for uh, sometimes sorrow and sometimes the disharmony and all that. So, try to be as detached as possible from people and things. These also we tend to be very we don't sometimes don't want to let go of people and let go of things. We get so attached to even material things that we want to not, we become possessive basically. We become possessive about people, we become possessive about things, and we don't want to, maybe share. So stoics say that that is another cause for getting disturbed. You lose your mental peace. Then one more thing they say is avoid toxic people and negative things, like watching negative stuff, or being like, it's like talking to people. Avoid talking, being with people who are toxic, in the sense that they always complain or cribbing and criticizing other people and judging other people, and which is not good. So they say that you just avoid such people, because again it disturbs you, it affects you emotionally, and it might affect your mental health. So avoid negative people who talk negative many times. See, once in a while people sharing with us is okay, but for some people it's a habit, it becomes a nature, so which is not recommended by them. And also don't believe what others say, because that's again toxic for you. Because if you believe what others say about you, then you tend to have those beliefs so strongly that it affects your life. Like so you should not believe, like suppose they say that don't do this, don't do that, people give you advice, but just don't take it on face value. Think about it, read about it, find out for yourself. It may not be true. So it is their perspective, it is not it's just another perspective they're giving you. So it's like, you don't have to completely believe whatever others say about you, or anybody else for that matter. Also, if you're talking about somebody else also, we don't have to believe. It could be their perspective, their way of looking at it. So that's one thing they say, that avoid that, don't believe everything people say. Okay, now another soul search. Forgiving is supposed to be a very, very good exercise, because very often we have regrets about what we do. It just happens sometimes, and due to some emotion, and we regret, and and then that guilt we carry with us. So now we'll do a little bit of soul search again, where you will write, I forgive myself for whatever, one or two things which you have done and you regret, and you have to write down that I forgive myself for for this, whatever was your guilt, you regret. So that you need to write down, and I forgive whoever, others who you want to forgive. Could we do this? Just have a sip of water.
Yes, ma'am.
I forgive myself for whatever, and I forgive others, whoever. Because forgiving, again, gives you a lot of peace. Guilt is something, is a very strong emotion which we should not carry. We have to, delete it. And you can talk to yourself about it, like, why do you think you have to forgive yourself, and how? Because see, everybody makes mistakes, we all make mistakes, and it happens. So, and it's okay. It's okay because every mistake is a learning experience, according to me. So we learn from our mistakes. So it happens. Of course, it should not be repeated again and again. But if it has happened once or twice, we're trying to work on it, right? We're all in the process. So it's not like it's not a thing that you have to really worry about so much. So we need to forgive ourselves for whatever, and also forgive others. Yeah, this principle number 9 actually is the last one, and it sums up everything, which sums up all the other principles actually. And they also say don't plan too much, uh, like what we are going to do, like after, I mean, long term plans, I think not required. Means I also believe now, because I used to plan a lot before, but now I don't, because I feel anything can happen anytime and things keep changing. So if there's too much of planning is not required, because then we tend to worry about the future. So mm, no, don't avoid planning too much. Just plan, as much as required. Maybe the next few days or 1 week or 1 month. Of course, if you're traveling, then you need to plan. Of course, if you want to travel, and all that is there. But unnecessarily, thinking, worrying about the future is what not required, is what they say. And our basic goal is to keep learning and growing. I mean, then there is no age limit to that. So we are all lifelong learners, because that keeps us going, that keeps us growing, and going forward and motivated. And it keeps us, then the purpose of life. We know the purpose of life. So we keep doing what we can, keep learning something new, which is the way of life, is what they say. Accept and move on. I mean, something happens, suppose something negative also happens, just don't try to give in to that. I mean, just accept the way it is. And that's why they say that you need to be like nature should be our inspiration, where things are just happening on its own, and nothing is there's no resistance in it, like everything just moves on. So like that, we should be in sync with nature, is what they say. Like, there are many videos on YouTube on stoicism, and that's what I've been watching. And you will find a lot of things there, how they say, you need to follow nature. Anybody wants to add something over here?
Okay, Kalyani ji.
Yes.
Now, to be frank, I haven't read any books on Stoicism.
Okay.
And interestingly, when I gave a talk yesterday on how to manage unhappiness, I talked in detail about the principle number 2 and principle number 6 without knowing these are some principles. Principle number 2 about stop comparing yourself.
Yes.
And stop worrying about what others will think about you.
Correct.
Then the principle 6, that is expectations, the
Correct.
root cause behind unhappiness. Low expectations, that will bring you happiness.
Correct.
And if these principles, if
Yes.
everyone follows
Can
these
follow.
principles, their life will be happy.
Happy. So the beauty is, why you have spoken is because these are so relevant, though, I mean, what I like is, though there's very old, but still they're so relevant. So I think that's why, like, we all kind of agree with it, I guess.
So now I understand great people think alike. So I also think like
like the Greeks and the Romans.
right, without even reading or without even knowing anything. I haven't watched even a single video. Yeah.
Yes. So now I'm sure if you want, I'll go through all the principles again, but which of the principles have you liked very much, and which principle do you think you can apply? Please put it down and we can discuss. Which of these principles? So I'll just go up and maybe go with it again. One was principle number one was power of silence. I think which is a very strong one, which is a very powerful one. Then focus on yourself. Yes, this is something I completely agree with. Then relationships, how to accept and not expect. Control, I think we all are aware. I'm sure we're all following that. Simplicity, yeah, it's another thing which should be done but difficult. Happiness, yes, happiness is something we all would want to do. So happiness is more about gratitude. Be grateful for what you have. Then that's one of the major ways of achieving it. Toxic people, avoid toxic people, so you'll be happy. And yeah, that's it. Ninth one actually sums up the whole thing. Mastery, self-mastery is like they say that keep learning something, doing something. So for that, I have a few suggestions in my last slide. A few options like I think as we are aging, we tend to feel that what do we do now, kind of a thing. Of course, I'm sure many of you are doing a lot of things. So but I have like tried to explore these things which maybe after I like stop working as such, for a living, when I can afford. I was wondering, these are the things which we could do. Like we could do voluntary work. We could work with an NGO. We could teach, generally with all this. I'm saying without, any expecting anything in return. Counseling is also something we could do. Life coaching. And if you're very fond of books and reading, you could have a library of your own, and you could, exchange books and lend books and, share your thoughts, and you could have a book club or something like that. Then kennels. Some people are very fond of dogs and animals. So like in the US, they have kennels where you can keep your pets when you're traveling. So something like that we could run over here also. We can do that. Life coaching, theater. If you're interested in theater, maybe you could join a theater group. Drama is a therapy, as you all know. Art is a therapy, as we all know. So I was like, thinking that especially old age, when we feel that, what do I do, kind of a thing. So there are so many things I feel we can still do. We can write articles, we can write poetry. I know Dinakar Rao sir already is doing that. So, of course, he's not there, I guess. He's left the meet. But these are the things which, I was thinking we could do as and when we have time. It doesn't have to be after an age. I'm not saying that it has to be at a particular age, but as and when we can do, I think these are the things we can engage ourselves to keep learning, growing, and going on. So I'm done with my thing. If anybody wants to add to this list of options. And I think now I can share. If anybody wants to share.
Ma'am, the presentation obviously is really good.
Thank you, sir.
And I have been following these Stoic principles for quite some time.
Okay.
In fact, one of the speakers in one of the videos, he was mentioning that if you want freedom, be a slave to the Stoic philosophy.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
That's what he was saying.
Okay.
In fact, I have been trying to practice this for over a few months. At least particularly in the area of not being rude to the people, and trying to develop patience by controlling the anger, and the humility part of it.
Yes.
I do not mean to say that I have become a celestial angel. It is like a cricketer practicing before the crucial match. He plays all the balls very well, all kinds of bowling he is capable of facing. But when he gets onto the field, obviously he becomes a victim of the sledging first, and then thereafter he keeps on behaving in different ways. So what is essential here is that maybe I may read good number of books, I may read, listen to so many good number of videos and all. It will give me a conceptual understanding of this.
Correct.
So over a period of time, when I started maintaining a journal, which helped me to call myself for a kind of an accounting, wherein, what is that I have done today, what is a virtue, which is like a Seneca, which he said,
yes,
what virtues you have mastered and what passions you have conquered.
Yes.
These are some of the kinds of things that he was asking us to maintain a journal.
Yes.
So if I was getting angry at somebody else, at the end of the day, it was helping me that I should not have done these things. I should not have been rude to these people and all.
Correct.
So what I mean to say is that it won't happen. Growth happens only in small steps. It won't happen a day.
True.
It's a question of time. Practice over a period of time.
Yes.
Maybe perhaps, things are coming to a shape.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is that, yes, at the end of the day, I feel it is a fulfilling day.
Correct.
And I have been able to master at least, though not all, maybe at least a few.
Yes.
So conceptual understanding is only, get you words of wisdom.
Correct. But you need to apply.
Put it into practice and call yourself for accountability through a journaling.
Correct.
That will definitely help you to look into your emotions and find out what you are exactly. This is a small supplementary thing which I would like to say.
Thank you so much. I think we're all work in progress, is what I call it.
Exactly. That's what.
We're all work in progress, and it's always a learning. So that's why we're all learners till the end, whenever that is. Yes, sir. Dr. Venugopal Garu, you want to share?
Right now, you told us that is a Sudha Murthy is your role model. For me, my father is a role model. Neither my father, he was a fourth grader. Neither my father nor I have read anything about this Stoic philosophy. And we were following the Stoic principles.
True, without knowing, yes.
Without knowing. And now, that is what am I doing? Time is life. And in the past 4 years, I have been donating my time, knowledge, and the skills as a persistent act of kindness, not random act of kindness.
Okay.
Persistent act of kindness for the benefit of the public, without expecting even a single penny in return.
True.
Wow.
I'm sure, you're very happy doing that. And I'm sure, you're very, very content with that. That gives a, great high, I mean, when you do something for somebody without expecting anything in return, I think it's a beautiful feeling, basically.
And I have given more than 100 webinars in the last 3 years.
Yes.
And for each webinar, I usually spend 30 to 50 hours of reading and research, because I want to make sure whatever I share is authentic.
It's true.
Practical.
True. And sharing knowledge, I think, is one of the best ways of giving back to society. Thank you so much, sir. Indira, you would like to speak?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, ma'am, it was a wonderful session. And though I didn't know as what it is, but then these are the principles which I also have been following since maybe since long, but then since quite some time to a greater extent, many of the things. And this random act of kindness, I wanted to add to it that it is a beautiful feeling when somebody helps somebody, when person A helps person B In that moment, a helper feels a happy feeling is there that I have helped someone, and he has got the help, so that person has gratitude, and people around who are seeing, they also get happy emotions, and they also take a very good lesson and they reach home. So all the environment feels good, and that is a great thing which happens, ma'am.
True.
And
I totally agree with you.
So, and like sometimes you're not able to avoid the toxic people, you have to be with them.
True.
But that time, trying to be resilient, and being to yourself, many a times it happens that they know that this person is not going to take the nonsense. So those people also become quiet. Many a times it happens. In fact, most of the times.
Yes.
Understand that this is the restriction she has kept for her, and it is not possible to cross the boundaries.
You just draw a boundary, ma'am.
Just drawing the boundaries that helps, because it's not possible to always avoid the toxic.
We cannot avoid. That's true.
We have to be with them.
Yeah.
And I completely like the simplicity of thoughts and environment and life. Yes, definitely. It helps a lot when we don't expect and we try to be simple. And then people know that you are simple.
Correct.
They may or may not talk. It hardly matters, ma'am. This is what
absolutely,
I had to say.
Absolutely. We don't have to worry about what people think.
Don't have to
follow
worry.
Your principles. That's it.
And in the end, those same people may come and appreciate.
Correct.
They may or may not.
They may
it
not.
also doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
That happens.
We have to reach there.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. It was a lovely session, ma'am.
Thank you. Shamla, ma'am. I think you raised your hand. Good evening, ma'am. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah.
So what this session, everything you have brought in, and what I realize is that now when we read all these spiritual books of whether it is Upanishad or Gita, all these books also refer these things, but probably not in one place you will find everything, but there will be enough references of all these things once you get into our spiritual books also.
Yes.
And I really liked what was given there. I would just say my personal experience of planning. Planning in the sense, yes, I would like to plan in the sense if I have to go out and do 5 or 6 things, I had rather write it down and go so that I don't waste my time. And the small shift which I have done is that morning I used to get up and do my meditation and yoga, the first thing. Now what I have done is I have started reading in the morning.
Okay.
1 hour I spend for reading, because I know come what may, I will do my meditation, come what may, I'm going to do my exercise. When you finish doing all these things, probably you're so tired that you don't feel like reading. So I changed the schedule and I'm finding it is so peaceful. My reading is also happening on a regular basis. And I definitely would complete my meditation and yoga or whatever is the exercises that I do. And sometimes we are torn between this being and doing. We keep on doing, but you have to be a being person also where you enjoy and just
enjoy.
Don't plan anything. Just randomly go and enjoy, or every 2 to 3 days, just go for something. Some enjoyment you have to do on every. It could be even watching some movie or going out, meeting a friend. Otherwise, it is continuously on a doing basis. That's what when we keep on doing only doing things about whether it is housework or whether it is a professional work, but not spending on the things
yourself.
of your hobby, on yourself. Hobby. It could be even going to a parlor, any of those stuff,
True.
So that's
Actually,
what matters a lot. I think.
Stoics have also spoken about mindfulness and all that, but I didn't want to take those because we all know about it. Mindfulness we've spoken so much about it, so I left it. So some things, there are many more things which they have spoken about. So, but basically what they say is, have a routine. Focus on yourself. Also, these are things which I've taken, but they've spoken about reaction versus response. Or there are lots of things actually in Stoics.
Actually, really, I would say that power of silence.
Yes.
I'm telling from recent experience of mine, where I felt that there are people who may deliberately try to provoke you or put you down.
Yes.
Now the best thing is that if you want to match up to them and give back to them, then it's going to be unnecessary stress, tension, and fight only. But if you just withdraw from that and let the other person, do the provocation or whatever it is, if you do not at all react, neither take any revenge, just leave it like that.
Yes.
3-4 times they will try afterwards, they will just leave you. Then they know that nothing is going to come out of you. You're not going to be stressed. You're not going to fight. You're not going to react. Then, you are taking away their power and you're giving power to yourself.
Correct. So they say, that don't resist anything. Like nature doesn't resist anything.
Yeah, correct.
So they say that nature is the best teacher. I mean, experience is another thing, just experience whatever is happening and go with the flow. Just go with the flow, and then you will not have any, physical ailments also, because when you resist, it all manifests in your body.
No, all this, the physical illness comes because of criticisms that we face, or negative toxic people. And when we want to react, when we want to take revenge, when we feel that only when we argue with them, that person told me this, like me also give it back. They are giving back in a very good way also, without getting angry, without you can just talk nicely and get out of from there. Those are also giving back only, but that doesn't put you into too much of stress.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Silence breaks the reaction cycle.
Yeah, absolutely.
It breaks the reaction cycle, so
no doubt about it.
Smoothens the environment.
I think because the other person loses the power, no? Because when we react to that, we are giving power to them. When we stop reacting, we are not giving. We have taken away their power.
Correct. Jayalakshmi,
Yeah, ma'am. Such a thought-provoking topic. It's a really nice presentation. And the principles, all the principles almost, I follow in life. And this power of silence, that is a really, that's a principle number 1 you have given. But outside the family, fine, it is, it's really helping. But within the family, I'm facing this power of silence. It's really tough. Both of my husband and Sandeep get into the mode of power of silence, and I'm like, it's so powerful. Powerful means it's so powerful. Your anger is really, going high when the other person is really.
It's difficult actually. Power of silence is a little.
That is the main thing I need to practice. Otherwise, almost all the principles, as other people were also saying, everywhere it's in Gita, Ashtanga Yoga, all these Yama Niyamas, everything. You start practicing all these are choices. And the other word, I got it from my son, he is 20 years old, but the stoicism during the COVID time, every time we used to discuss about this, and we practice this almost, this is such a wonderful topic. Thanks for that.
Thank you. Who else has raised their hands? I can't see. Isha Chandra?
Yes, ma'am. So I just wanted to share the principle number 10, which was self-mastery. So just wanted to share that in this, there are a lot of options, like you can go for doing arts and library and counseling and everything. So I just want to share that while the COVID period was on, I have practiced the self-mastery thing to such an extent that today I have my 2 YouTube channels. One is of the art, because it used to relieve from stress, the art thing. So mandala
art is the major, stress buster.
So this mastery went to such a level that I went on for going on and opening a YouTube channel. It has many subscribers to it. Also, in meanwhile, I opened my music channel because I was very much inclined to it, and such was my focus. This principle of focus and everything was in play. So, as very well said by others also, that all these principles at this age, like in late 30s and everything, we almost have practiced many of them. Hardly few of the principles are left which we need to follow. So it's like,
congratulations. You mastered so much. Really happy to know that. At a very young age, I must say. So that's great. That's really great. Nice. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Jyoti Makar.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I just wanted to say thank you. It was a very nice session. Thank you.
So sweet of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jyoti Raja.
Yeah. Good evening. Congratulations. It's a wonderful session, Kalyani, as
Thank you.
usual. As usual. And one more thing, all the principles, you cannot say that one principle is important, the other one is not
Correct. They're
important.
all, yeah.
All we have to, I think, at some point of time, we need everything. We cannot say mastery of one thing, which doesn't mean that at that particular moment it may be working. But we
Yeah.
need all the thing. But I always appreciate those people. I think way thousands of years back, they thought about the
That's what.
present thing
That's
which
what
we
is
are
very
talking about
amazing.
it.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what.
we are talking about it. We are making it as a big thing. But
Now, yeah.
no, actually, but I
Imagine.
think they thought
Yeah.
everything. Only thing
Correct.
it's thanks to you that you explored these things and bringing it out.
That's why I like this topic because it's very relevant.
Really, it's
So
very
relevant. It's
relevant to the
amazing.
present
Yeah.
situations, present scenarios. Okay.
Yeah. Thank
Once
you so
again,
much.
congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
It's a wonderful session.
Kalyani Karigari.
Yeah, I'm really delighted to enter into this very much relevant and it is a practical session which you have conducted. Of course, you are very talented in your field, but you are making us just
No,
to
we
be
have
even
to
more.
practice. We have to
Yeah,
practice, you know. If
yeah,
we
that's what, that's what,
Yeah.
that's what. As
That's
you
what.
said, our family people are all role models for us.
True.
My aunt and something, they have already practiced it
Correct.
and they have shown a way to us also.
True. True.
Everything is relevant, but it applies to our daily life.
True.
But just practicing it is something it is which it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Do we
High
know
level.
everything?
We
Do
need
we
high
know
levels
everything?
of consciousness.
Yes, yes.
We have to be very
So,
mindful and conscious.
nurturing yourself into that perspective is really what is needed.
True.
And you said your opinions and what you have done is really a very excellent job. You should be appreciated, of course.
Thank you.
So thank you. God bless you because it was a wonderful session. I learned so many things.
Thank you. Thank you. Sudha, you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to say thank you and congratulations for that because everybody's told about the session. Really, it's a wonderful session.
Yeah. And which principle you like the most?
All of them, I cannot
All
ignore
of
it.
them. Yeah, all of them
And
seem
take only one of
very
them
important.
like that.
Yeah.
Majorly, they are interlinked maybe.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Yes, they are. Relationships and emotions and all are interlinked. No?
Yeah, we cannot ignore any of
True,
those.
true. All of them are important. So, just as much as we can do, I think we should try.
Keeping silence. First point, first
Yeah.
first principle I dedicatedly follow that. I know that.
Correct. Yeah, I think in that field we have come a long way.
Yeah, keeping silence. Oh no, not only in the field,
Relevancy,
actually at home.
being relevant also outside everywhere, we don't have to unnecessarily share things with, people. So that's something I am following a lot nowadays. Being relevant, don't talk unnecessarily, no need to, share. We tend to do that. So we listen more and talk less. That's what I want to follow.
Yeah, great session. Thank you so much.
Very true, Kalyani. It was a
Sunanda.
fantabulous session.
Thank you.
As Sudha mentioned, we have to apply each and every principle in our life.
True.
Yeah. I think no other doubts or interaction. Shall we conclude, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I want.
Yeah, Naveen, you can go for VOT.
Yeah, ma'am. Thanks, ma'am. It was a fantabulous session. Really, you gave a lot of lovely principles about life in all the aspects and perspectives, ma'am. Thank you so much for that, ma'am. Please accept your gratitude on behalf of Manasa Subhara Mindcare, Forest Creative Art Studio, and Yellow Pond Counseling Center, Hyderabad. Participants, next week we do have another one session with exciting topic and interesting speaker. Till then, be happy, stay happy, and keep learning. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for your contributions, inputs. Thank you for sharing and being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity, ma'am.